What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Real Ones Kings podcast. He is Brandon O'Doy. Follow him on X at Brandon_O'Doy. I'm Brian the Beast London. Follow me at Miami Radio Beast. Brandon, this team is still undefeated. Before we talk about the game against Georgia Tech up at your own stomping grounds of Atlanta, Miami comes back in Miami fashion. What has become Miami fashion. They come back from multiple touchdowns down and wins a game against Duke and their old coach, Manny Diaz. And we thought it was going to be a tough game. I didn't know it would require a second half comeback. But when it was all said and done, once again, Cam Ward, Xavier Restrepo, the defense got it together in the end, and they came back and win, and they're still undefeated.
Yeah, it's starting to become a calling card for this team, and good teams win games they probably shouldn't or are very close, and they find ways to win. And you have to now say that the University of Miami is a good football team, and they're amongst the best in the country, because when you look around college football, there are a lot of teams that are getting into the same positions that the University of Miami find themselves in, and they'll take losses. University of Florida was on the doorstep of a big-time win over Tennessee. They could not close the door. Again, this same Florida team that Miami absolutely dismantled in week one when they were full strength goes and gives Georgia everything they want, even all the way through the starting of a third-string quarterback, due to DJ Lagway going down. So, all this talk about, who's the best team, and you look at Oregon getting pushed by Ohio State, but Ohio State barely hanging on to beat Penn State, and none of the resumes are, quote unquote, super strong. And at the end of the day, Miami sits there at number 4 in the college football playoff ranking. I think everything takes care of itself. You win all the games you need to win, because now, even with Clemson losing, and you kind of saw that happening, this Clemson team that everybody thought Miami would lose to in the ACC gets dismantled at home to Louisville. And so Miami goes to Louisville and beats Louisville handily. And it's just a situation where, people are just not giving this team the credit they deserve. And that's fine, because in this new system of college football, all you got to do is keep winning, and you don't have to worry about that. The one thing you start to get concerned about, Beast, and I know we're going to transition to this shortly, is your depth. And because that's one of the biggest issues down the stretch that the University of Miami has to think about. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, without a doubt. We'll get there in one second. Just back to the college football playoff. I didn't even, I did see that Miami was number 4. Obviously, in my other podcast job, I host a politics podcast, so I was watching the election stuff, so I didn't really mind how people were freaking out about BYU and all that stuff. But I think you said the right thing, though. It takes care of itself. If Miami wins all their games, and it really doesn't matter what the college football playoff rankings are, right? They're going to be in, they're going to have a bye, they're going to be one of the best teams in the country. But now, I'm starting in the back of my mind, you talked about Clemson, with a misstep, and I'm thinking about SMU. And I know it's way too early to get there. And Miami famously at this point has a 1-0 mentality, meaning one game at a time. And they reiterated that yesterday and today in their media availability. But, it's just in the back of my mind that we may see Rhett Lashley in the ACC championship game in Charlotte. It's just lingering back there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it.
And actually, you want Rhett to make it. You want the Coral Gables 2.0 team to be there. Yep. And all of the juice. Listen, it's like literally every game that's been played,
storyline. Yep.
Fernando Mendoza played with Mario in high school. His dad, jilted by Miami.
Right.
Then you go to, Duke coming in, coach used to be here, quarterback, wanted to come here out of the portal. It's like, these games are going to continue to raise their heads, and you're going to continue to need to check these boxes one at a time, and it is a 1-0 mentality, and that's so cliche, but you really just don't have a choice but to just deal with the opponent that you have in front of you. And this week, it's the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, no doubt.
Started the season with an amazing win against Florida State, a team we thought was going to be good.
Right.
Come to find out, not a good team, and that win was not as impressive. And now they're having depth issues, quarterback issues. There's talk of whether Haynes will play, and of course, and he's very familiar with what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, for sure.
But there will be a lot, and mark this: it will be Hard Rock North at Bobby Dodd.
Oh, no doubt. There's a ton of Canes fans up in Atlanta back when the Hurricane Club was the big organization supporting the University of Miami back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Atlanta had the second largest Hurricane Club outside of Florida. So there's a ton of Canes fans up there. It'll be rocking at Bobby Dodd. We'll get to the Georgia Tech game in a second. I want to talk about the depth issue. Mario Cristobal, we knew this, but Mario Cristobal, kind of confirmed yesterday that Jadais Richard, it's a bad injury to his leg.
I told you on.
No. I like
dislocated. You can see it.
Yeah, no, I know. We know that, but I'm just Mario confirmed it.
No, you're saying we know as if you were like, oh, maybe. No, he's seriously hurt. He's not coming back this season.
Right.
I said that in the press box. I just need that to be said by you because you're trying to pretend as if, oh yeah, we found out. No, you found out when it happened.
I watched the same injury that you watched. I knew it was serious. We both knew that he was going to be out a long time. I was just telling the audience that Mario.
It's a shame. He was having a really good game.
Yeah, right. He was. He made a pick, what have you. But the bottom line is it goes back to depth. The one position we said from the outset, right, from August, we said it, that the secondary was the area where they
there's some guys. There's some guys. I'm going to throw some names at you. There's some guys who've been sort of, waiting in the wings, kind of, I think you're going to start seeing Robbie Washington. I think you're going to start seeing Markeith Williams. I think you're going to start seeing, guys like that, possibly Robert Stafford. They're guys like if you go way back in games like Ball State, FAMU, these are guys that have been in the depth of this defensive backfield. Let's not forget about the fact that, Jaden Harris has had some injury concerns.